I was little, I had a grandmother. Everyone probably has one. I have vague memories of that time. I was probably 2 years old, no more. There are very few memories left. A huge street passing in front of me, my mother's face with red curls that tickle me, my crib with high, terribly high walls, a pink horse dangling in front of me on a string. And Grandma. She was standing next to my crib, leaning over, saying something to me. She was wearing a white handkerchief tied almost over her eyes, and her brown hand, reaching out to me, smelled of earth and milk. I remember that at first I was a little afraid of my grandmother, and even whimpered. I was afraid of that wrinkled, hard, hot hand stroking my cheek. My mother came running to my crying, took me in her arms, gave me a bottle of milk. Grandma was standing next to us, looking at us from under her brows. I was muttering, "Baba, Baba," and my mom was smiling. Then I got used to my grandmother, and I was even glad when I opened my eyes and saw her. Most of the time she sat on a chair near the door. I got up, clinging to the bars of the bed, and called her. Grandma smiled and came over. Sometimes I would hear my parents screaming in the other room, and I would get scared. Then my grandmother calmed me down, and I felt better. Then we moved, and I vaguely remember moving, but instead of blue walls, the new room had green walls, and Mom was sleeping next to me now. Dad was no longer with us, and Grandma stopped coming too. I cried. I missed her. Then I got a new grandmother. My mother's mother moved in with us. She didn't look like the old one, and she smelled not of earth and milk, but of something sweet and floral, but I quickly consoled myself. As I grew up, I learned new things about the world, and the image of my grandmother gradually faded from my memory. I realized that it was probably Dad's mom, and I didn't ask my mom. I already knew what a divorce was and why Dad didn't see me. When I was 16, I found a thick black bag with old photographs in the closet, and to my joy, I saw my grandmother there. In the worn black and white photograph, she was standing by the fence, her hands clasped, and the branches of a mountain ash tree bent down to her very white scarf. I saved the picture and hid it in my jewelry box. She didn't show it to her mom. I'm 22 now. I'm pregnant with my son, and I'm already married. The other day, my mom and I were sorting through my baby clothes, which she had saved to select something for my baby. We started talking, and I started asking what I was like as a child. And Mom, behind the generalities, suddenly said a strange thing. That she and Dad got divorced because of me, and thank God. That when I was 2 years old, my mother stopped sleeping because I was constantly talking to someone in my room at night. Because she was drenched in cold sweat when she saw me standing in the crib, smiling and stretching my arms into the void. Because when she picked me up, she kept seeing a silhouette over my shoulder out of the corner of her eye. Because my nursery always smelled of fresh earth, and the door was constantly opening and closing by itself. Because my dad called her crazy. Because one day she woke up in the middle of the night and saw her grandmother standing over their bed. Because Mom wet herself out of fear, and Dad woke up and made a scene. I listened to it all, stunned. I thought it was Daddy's mom. I remember her. Honey, your dad's parents live in the Far East. They never visited us. I brought my mom the very picture that I once found in the closet. Mom jumped when she saw him. I do not know who it is. I remember that stack of photos, but I don't know exactly where they came from. I don't know whose relatives were there. When I moved, I just threw them in my suitcase and then put them in the closet. I told my husband everything. He was a little skeptical, and I hope he believed me. I really hope so, because I don't want to divorce him when my son starts reaching into an empty room and saying Baba to someone.